Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Slifer the Sky Dragon deck. Now, I made this deck a long time ago, and I had an old version of it, and I've just updated it, changed a few things around. The general strategy is still there, but I really wanted to change it up and add some new things, especially because I noticed someone just net decked me and made a video of my old deck, so I wanted to make a new version to show that I'm still playing this deck and, mixing it around and adding some new things as well. So first off, Slifer, obviously everyone knows his effects pretty well. He gains 1,000 attack and defense for each card in your hand. And then anything that gets summoned, normal or special summoned, gets blown up if it has 2,000 attack or less, which is very, very powerful in combination with the right cards. So I'm running 3 of him. You can definitely run less if you want. 3 might be a little much for this deck, so I'm still thinking about that. Then we're running Gilasaurus. Very good card to special summon very quickly. Obviously, it can give your opponent some big special summon power, but still very useful to get out Slifer. And then we have Destiny Hero Defender, really good in this deck. So obviously a wall, but it gives your opponent draw power, which is important for how the deck works, which I'll talk about. And then King Tiger Wanghu. So Wanghu is just like a lesser version of Slifer. He just shuts down low attack monsters. So the idea is use some of the other things in this deck to lower attack, and it can be really, really annoying for your opponent to deal with. And then Tragoedia. Really great in this card, another like alternative Slifer, easy special summon, so you can do more summons, and then he gains attack, and obviously you can do more XYZs with him. So a very useful card overall, and he's also the same level as Slifer. And then Chainsaw Insect, very powerful card to stall, and its effect that your opponent gets draw power again is how this deck works, and very useful for what you're trying to do. And then we have Hardened Arm Dragon, and a God card deck really good to basically make Slifer almost invincible. So just very nice overall. And now Black Garden. So kind of the key to this deck is that Black Garden is shutting down your opponent completely, cutting all their monsters' attack points in half. So when you have Black Garden on the field and then King Tiger Wanghu or Slifer, they basically will lose all their monsters very, very quickly. And Slifer doesn't get affected by Black Garden. So if you have Black Garden, you shut down your opponent, bring out Slifer, get its attack up, your opponent can't do much, which is basically the idea behind this deck. And then we have Forbidden Lance. Last time I was running Burden of the Mighty, because of the prevalence of XYZ, I wanted to take out Burden of the Mighty. It still can be a really good card for this deck, but you guys can let me know what you think. I think Forbidden Lance can still be very, very useful in this deck. Cup of Ace, if you have Appropriate up, which I'll talk about in a little bit, it's draw power for you no matter what. Hand Destruction, obviously more draw power. Soul Exchange to get out Slifer very easily. Double Summon, again, helping you very quickly to get out Slifer. And Dark Hole and 1 Day of Peace, because stalling and draw power are perfect for this deck. So now for the traps. The other key to this deck is Appropriate, just allowing you to have draw power whenever your opponent gets draw power. So everything that gives your opponent draw power gives you it. You get additional draw power, and it just creates a really good situation. And it's really good because you can shut down your opponent and keep getting draw power for Slifer on top of it, which is very, very nice. I just really like how this card works out in this deck. And then Dark Bribe, basically a better MST in this deck because you have Appropriate, so it doesn't really matter that they have draw power. Reckless Greed, obviously great for Slifer. If someone attacks him when he has low attack, activate Reckless Greed. Call the Haunted, giving us some more special summon power, enabling us to do what we need to do. So now for the extra deck, we're going to have a few 3-stars. We have a lot of room for XYZ in this deck, so we just have a lot of different stuff. So Zenmaines, Leviair, Alucard, and Leviathan. For the 4-stars, we have a lot of Earth, so you can run Fairy King, which I am. We also have some Dark. We have Tragoedia, which can become level 4, and then Destiny Hero Defender. So we're running 2 Master Key Beetle. 2 because Master Key Beetle is very useful in keeping Black Garden up. 2 Silent Honor. Again, we have room for a lot of XYZ, so we're running 2 Silent Honor because he's just really, really useful nowadays. And Exciton Knight, Maestroke, Gagaga, Lavalval Chain, very good for this deck for getting what you need. Blackship. Also one Gustav Max in case you get out like Tragoedia and Slifer and you want to finish your opponent off. That can be definitely a useful combination. So now for the side deck. Again, side decks in my videos are kind of just recommended cards that can also work with this deck type. It isn't a side deck for matches. Don't try to think of it that way. Just, these are just a bunch of other ideas that can be really good with the deck. So Muka Muka is another alternative to like Tragoedia. Just kind of does the same thing as Slifer, but I don't think its bonuses are good enough to warrant using it. You could run the Frog engine just like I'm running Frogs and Obelisk, but it requires a different sort of thing, and then you don't have draw power or the other things the deck's trying to do. So not really, the way I do it. With Black Garden, you can run Fragrance Storm, which can give you draw power on top of what you're doing. You can run this more with plants too, giving you additional draw power with Slifer. So that's some ideas. You can run Field Barrier if you want to be dedicated to Black Garden. It can be very useful for how the deck works. You can run Kaiser Colosseum. If you run Kaiser Colosseum, your opponent's going to get Rose tokens and they won't be able to special or summon any monsters, which can be really powerful. Obedient Scold, perfect for getting out God cards. We could run this in low-level beasts and just summon Slifer right away. But obviously, that's a lot different in terms of the build. Again, Burden of the Mighty, I was saying why this can be very useful. But again, because of XYZs, I'm not running it. If it wasn't for XYZs, I'd still be running this. Infinite Cards, I know a lot of people are going to recommend this. I don't like running this in the type of deck I'm running, just because it's too much work to use a card like this to keep trying to generate more cards. The idea isn't getting Slifer to 7, 8, 9,000 attack overall and keep it there. The idea is to keep him, hovering around 3 to 5,000 attack and shutting down your opponent. So you can run Infinite Cards if your idea is just to have an amazingly powerful Slifer that just gets destroyed by a trap, but it's not really the goal of my deck. United We Stand, because we're running the Rose tokens and Black Garden, this can give us a huge boost to go over our opponent, so that's an interesting thing you can do. You can run Owner's Seal and Nightmare Archfiend, another way to get out Slifer that doesn't really get in the way of what you're trying to do, so that's kind of an interesting combo. Adhesion Trap Hole would really shut down your opponent on top of Black Garden. You can run Deck Devastation Virus, the other viruses, and with Black Garden that'll just completely lock out your opponent. You can run Light of Intervention, so your opponent won't be able to set monsters anymore, so Slifer's effect will activate no matter what. And you can run Imperial Custom, just so Appropriate always stays out. So definitely could be a good choice. Also protecting Call the Haunted. So definitely could be interesting. So that's my Slifer the Sky Dragon deck. A pretty weird strategy, but works surprisingly well and very fun to play. One of the best ways, I think, to support Slifer using what he needs to make him work, draw power on top of lowering your opponent's attack so he can use his effect. So overall, I just think it's one of the best ways to use Slifer. But if you guys have your own Slifer decks, we could post below. Let me know in the comments. Talk about what cards you use. Maybe there's some ideas I didn't think about. I'll definitely be wanting to try this deck out in a bunch of different ways and see what can support Slifer. But for now, I'm really proud of this build and how it does what it needs to do. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.